Hello there, friends! We continue keeping our eye on what's happening with CS2, how Simple reacted to the update, and what other people in the community are saying. We'll also check out Blast, and of course go through all the news from the past week, and there's a lot of it today. Not wasting any time, let's get straight to it. First, we begin with the latest news about CS2. People found an interesting bug. If a player disconnects holding the bomb disappears from the server with them. Good news for the CT side, right?
Nee, weil Horst hatte die.
Ja, aber die kann doch nicht einfach weg sein.
Lol, doch.
Ist ein neuer Bug. Bitte mach einen Clip. We don't have a bomb, guys.
The next bug is no less amusing. If you approach the shop from the right side and hold W at a certain angle, the game starts lagging. And it wouldn't be a big deal if the game didn't start lagging for the entire server. That means all the players on the map also are playing at 5 FPS.
Because were you guys skipping?
Yes.
Okay. Are you lagging?
Oh yes. What the
It lags the server!
What?
Dude, this look, hold W into that. Hold W into that corner right there. Dude, it lags the whole server! I can't hear their names! Oh my gosh! Whoa! Dude. Yeah, some of it.
Also, we saw the first ever instance of the new VAC ban system. This whole moment was recorded, and you can see that the match indeed ends immediately and gets cancelled. So these are the future everyday experiences of VAC Live. I have a feeling that initially no match will be played until the end. Also, in the new game there's a ton of subtle wallbangs. It's almost like in 1.6, where people would shoot through the map and kill everyone.
О, я Зик убил. Я убил! Да? Я убил чела еще прострелом.
Then, Valve released another update, which apparently fixed some bugs. For example, it turned out you could have bought armor for $350. As I understood it, the trick was to buy armor and a helmet first, and then to sell the armor, but you'd still keep it. However, they fixed that. In the game files, people found numerous mentions of new maps, such as Tuscan, Anubis, and even scenes supposedly from a new Mirage, with stairs and entrances. Although it looks like an entirely new map rather than a reworked Mirage. But the most important news is that the second wave of invitations has been sent out. According to what people are writing on various platforms, many have actually received invitations for closed beta testing. By the way, let me know in the comments if you've received one too. Plus, all content creators who make maps, skins, and so on have also gained access. So it seems that the beta testing will open to everyone very soon. And here's another change that seems even more important. Cases no longer drop randomly after games, but only once a week and after leveling up. As a result, the prices of cases have significantly increased. Again, and a couple more news about CS2. One tournament organizer announced that they will hold the first official tournament in the new game with a prize pool of $1 million in Poland, starting in the end of August. The organizers believe that by that time CS2 will already be released and they will become the first major LAN championship. We'll see. The next news unexpectedly came from Richard Lewis. Lately, there have been many discussions about how Blast and ESL have eliminated all competition in the pro scene. Top teams and partners get slots, and the rest are left with just a couple of spots to fight for. This greatly affects the Tier 2 scene. They have to play endless home sweet home tournaments among themselves and hope for luck in the meat grinder of qualifications for a couple of slots at Tier 1 championships. According to Richard Lewis, Valve has decided to address this issue on the eve of CS2's release. According to Lewis's sources, Valve has threatened ESL and Blast, saying that they might revoke their licenses to host CS2 tournaments if they don't change their slot allocation system. The developers want everything to be more open, with fewer partner leagues and pure competition where where the strongest deserve to participate. For the past few years, we've been watching EG at various championships getting destroyed by everyone, and no one touches them because they bought their slot. Overall, it seems that there will be significant changes in the pro scene soon. However, Richard Lewis writes that ESL and Blast are already discussing some workarounds, such as organizing open championships exclusively for Valve to keep them at bay while still maintaining their own partner leagues, where they can make most of their money. For those who didn't know, in CSGO all of this started with Blast in 2019, selling slots to top teams and guaranteeing them participation in the championships. This concept worked so well that Blast became a real competitor to ESL, who also had to come up with their own Louvre agreement. That's what it's actually called. They included the same teams there and invited a few more, promising them the same as Blast. I do not know how much a slot costs, but there are rumors that it's around a $1 million per year. So ESL also got into this, and they extended their agreement with the teams until 2025. In fact, now we have two monopolists, and apparently Valve wants to fix that. On the one hand, competition is great, but on the other hand, there was a reason why all of this was invented. Only top teams participating, no no-names, stable viewership. Their marketing skyrockets because of this, and high price pools and more hype, and it's all like a closed loop. It's similar to how all American leagues are structured, like NHL, NBA and so on, and as we can see, they thrive without anyone being bothered by the fact that the same teams constantly compete. Overall, it's not as straightforward as it seems. So friends, what do you think? Is Valve doing the right thing, or is it better to leave everything as it is? Write in the comments below, let's discuss. Also, with the release of CS2, FACEIT might update everyone's elo, so everyone will start from scratch again. So far, only Smooya and Ankari have mentioned this, and there's no official information, just rumors. By the way, speaking of FACEIT, Boom, which recently organized a marathon in FPL and then addressed FACEIT. Balanced matchmaking on FACEIT happens once every 30 games. I have 4900 elo, and I play with 4 players at 2500 elo against 3500 elo. Do you think this is cool? It's terrible. FPL is dead, FPLC is dead, FACEIT is dead, fix it. Who knows, maybe with the release of CS2 they will fix this issue. And one more thing, Simple has tried the new CS and didn't like it at all.
On A. I got disconnected, fucking hell. Okay, let's play Valorant, fucking hell.
Thorin is also openly mocking those who like CS2. Valve will add an old chart to the game and you'll all lap it up. Never mind the shit economy, worst map pool in history, trash grenades, tick rate issues and so on. They waved a shiny penny. For example, SDY actually liked everything, but he wanted to see different maps. Friends, what do you think about the update? Share your opinion in the comments. But let's move on from CS2 to what's happening in CSGO. For instance, Danish player Nico has become a free agent and is now looking for a new organization, just as insiders predicted. Moving on, according to Harumi, several teams from Europe are interested in Wonderful from Spirit, with Sprout being the first in line. And Spirit themselves are teasing their audience that an announcement is coming soon, presumably introducing their new roster. It's expected that only Chopper and Magix will remain from the older lineup. As for Imperial, it seems that it won't be just Falling leaving. Here's what Bolt says. We have a good shuffle in Brazil happening right now, so maybe it will not be only Fallen talking to other teams. I think all the teams are trying to shuffle around. Maybe we can keep all together, or maybe everyone goes to another team. I don't know what's going to happen. Fallen himself doesn't know what will happen next. He might join Furia or Pain, or he might end his career. The first thing is deciding, do I still want to compete or not, right? I have been competing for the last 20 years and I do have many different things I could be doing. The second question is the way I have been approaching my life in terms of staying with my wife. You just can't marry someone after 12 years and not be at home forever. It's impossible, so you gotta transition some stuff. I'm still considering. If I'm going to play, I'm definitely gonna move to Europe. I think that's the way to go if you wanna play well. The third question is having a good lineup that I can trust and that have a good mix together. There are a lot of things that could be discussed. I have to think about my wife, I have to think about my career and my family. I am still almost certain that Fallen will join Furia. Well, this guy can't live without CS. there's nothing you can do about it, it's an addiction. And the last news regarding roster changes, or rather the lack of them, is about FaZe. I don't know where it's coming from, but recently there have been rumors about replacements in this team, and Twists denied all these rumors. No changes. I think it's been talked about already in the team. Everyone enjoys playing with each other and we have great team chemistry, and it's something we're not gonna take for granted. Unless there's something I don't know about, but I'm pretty talkative in the team and vocal, so at the moment I can see that there's no changes. In my opinion, it's absolutely logical. FaZe may not win every championship in a row, but they consistently reach the highest positions. Currently, there's no team that wins everything one by one. And the latest news, Zywoo has broken a world record. He has achieved a positive rating in 35 consecutive maps against the top 20 teams in the world. What a machine. He's undoubtedly the best player in the world right now. In general, Vitality has won 5 maps when Zywoo had a negative rating. Just 5 maps. No matches, but maps. That's how much Vitality depends on him. It's mind-blowing. Now, before moving on to Blast, let's take a quick look at a couple of parallel tournaments. The first one is the ESL Challenger, where a spot for the ESL Pro League is at stake. The final was between Ants and Virtus.pro. The match itself was incredibly close, with 30 rounds on the last 2 maps, but VP managed to pull through and win their first championship after the major. And guess what? They did it with the same lineup. And can you imagine, all 5 Virtus.pro players are in the top 5 of the tournament's stats? I've never seen anything like this before. James was even lost for words due to his emotions.
It's not big win for us, but after our позор как будет? Up down on major, it's very important for us. We're still champion.
You are still champions, this.
Congratulations to the guys on securing the spot in EPL and the long-awaited victory. Maybe it's time to just stick with this lineup and forget about the past issues. It seems to be working quite well. But here's an interesting thing. Norbert stated that he could potentially leave the team. My confidence took a hit when I got replaced. I kept practicing because I knew something could happen within the team. I was prepared to be a stand-in if needed. No one knows what might happen tomorrow. I can't say I'm immune to being replaced. So it seems that things can still change and Norbert's position is not guaranteed. But the story with BIG is even more intriguing. The other day they had not just one but 2 finals. One was the CCS series where a prize pool of $22,000 was up for grabs, and the other was their academy team offering a slot in the IEM Cologne. And you know what BIG did? They sent their main roster players Hyped and Crimbo to the academy team to secure the slot. Well, that was quite clever. As a result, they played the CCS series final with 3 substitutes and lost to the Portuguese team SO. So they earned less money but secured the Cologne spot for their academy team. Congratulations to BIG, it was a high IQ move from them. The only question is, will they now transition the entire main roster to the academy team for Cologne or not? Some are playing their finals, meanwhile others are enjoying their leisure time. Simple is doing great, and the other real men are riding boats together. Now that's what I call relaxation. Moreover, the group stage and quarterfinals have already passed, so we can partially summarize the results. Let's start with Cloud9, and things are not going well for them. The team continues to set anti-records from tournament to tournament. Their last place finish at Blast only proves that replacing Inters was a mistake. Their real issues lie elsewhere. Nefani suggested after their elimination from the tournament that the problem is him as the captain, giving too much freedom to their star players on the map. I believe this could be one of the reasons for their unsatisfactory results. After all, Groove is a good coach who can build a more structured game, so why not take advantage of this benefit? I think that could help. But what do you think, guys? What's the problem with Cloud9? Anyways, next we have Astralis. The Danes are currently performing decently in the Tier 2 tournaments, as evidenced by their victories in 2 CCT series tournaments. However, they still struggle against Tier 1 teams, as even a fatigued FaZe defeated them 2-0, with Danes only gaining 11 rounds across 2 maps. And then, albeit in a close fight, Astralis lost to Complexity. I believe Astralis lacks firepower. They need a third player who can get a lot of frags, especially when Blamef or Device are not performing well. In fact, Device had a rating of 0.89 in this tournament, which was his worst result in the entire career with Astralis. And no matter how good Blamef is, it's simply impossible to win every crucial round alone. Moving on, Complexity secured the 5th-6th place. Holzerg, the sniper and one of the key players of the team, couldn't attend Blast with the team, so they had to play with a stand-in. Due to this, it's difficult to evaluate their performance. I can only say that despite the stand-in, they showed some promising results in this tournament and even reached the quarterfinals, where they lost to Imperial, who are demonstrating phenomenal gameplay in this one. FaZe, like Complexity, also finished the 5th-6th place. Here everything's simple. The players openly talk about being exhausted from the packed tournament schedule. In this state, FaZe can defeat weaker teams, as they demonstrated against Astralis, but it becomes difficult for them to beat Tier 1 teams like Heroic or Vitality. Let's see what FaZe will show in the new season after the break. Let's move on to the 3rd-4th place. Many will be surprised, but it's Imperial here. The Brazilian lineup led by Fallen demonstrated an impressive performance at this tournament. Imperial defeated the reigning major champions Vitality on the very first day with a 2-0 score, giving away only 3 rounds on Overpass. The Brazilians then put up a tough fight against G2 on all 3 maps. In the playoffs, they defeated Complexity and faced Heroic. Everyone expected a relatively easy match for the Danes, but it turned out to be much closer. Imperial managed to secure Inferno, forcing the match to the 3rd map, Nuke. And on Nuke, the Brazilians staged an incredible comeback from 15-7. Furthermore, during the overtimes, Fallen and his team won the first 2 rounds, making a streak of 10 rounds in a row for Imperial. At that moment, I truly believed that the Brazilians would overcome Heroic and advance to the finals, but it didn't happen. In the very last moments, the Danes rallied and took 4 consecutive rounds. I must say I was thoroughly impressed by Imperial's performance in this tournament, and there's nothing to criticize them for. They showcased excellent gameplay against the world's best teams. It's almost a pity if the lineup disbands due to Fallen's departure and possibly other players too. On the other hand, this tournament served a great promotion for the Brazilian team and individual players. I believe there will be increased transfer interest in them. At the same 3rd-4th place, we have G2. The team couldn't finish the season on a positive note, but overall they had a decent showing in this tournament. They defeated the teams they were expected to beat, with 2-0 victories against Cloud9 and a 2-1 win against Imperial. In the playoffs, they only lost to Vitality, and even then it was a close battle on 3 maps. The only aspect to criticize G2 for is their inconsistency. They have moments of brilliance, but also periods where they struggle to make an impact. Interestingly, in all 3 of their matches, G2 chose Inferno as their map pick, but they lost it in 2 of the matches. They either need to work on improving their performance on Inferno or reconsider their pick strategy. And the remaining Heroic and Vitality faced off in the finals. At stake, $200,000 and the slot for Blast Premier World Final 2023. I think this is the kind of major final we all expected to see. Maybe not in Paris, but at least in Washington. Such great teams met in the finals, and you couldn't ask for a better year-end conclusion. Even Apex mentioned it in an interview. Without a doubt, the 2 best teams of 2023. Even though Heroic haven't won a tournament yet, they have been really consistent in the game. They had really good mental fortitude today, because after almost choking a big lead, they came back, and that's really important for them. I expect a good game. It's always really nice to mind game each other. Winning 3 tournaments in a row would make us without a doubt the best team in the world, no argument. I think we already are anyway, even if we lose the final, because we made 3 finals in a row, winning 2 at least, so I think we're the best team. And, as befits the best teams, the match took place on 3 maps. Heroic claimed their opponent's pick Vertigo, and Vitality responded with the same on Mirage. It all came down to Inferno, where the Danes look head and shoulders above their opponents, securing a long-awaited victory for Cadian and his team. These guys definitely deserved it.
And who other than Cadian to strike them down? The Jester makes a fool of Vitality! And on the US soil!
Oh my, Cadian's emotions are something else. It's as he dies for every victory and then is reborn like a phoenix. This guy loves CS, and when you dedicate yourself so much to your passion, you eventually deserve recognition. And that's exactly what happened. Heroic once again triumphed at the end of the season. Cadian and CS is a match made in heaven. Every time I see how he celebrates, it sends shivers down my spine. Honestly, I can't imagine what will happen to Cadian if he ever wins a major. It will be like witnessing his first death on live television, not from shock but from pure happiness. He also received the Blast MVP award, which is completely deserved, and as for HLTV, they decided to give their award to Inc. But I think that's not important at all. The most crucial thing is that they finally did it. By the way, Cadian had his best tournament of his entire career with Heroic. Now that's what I call a captain. And here are a few of his words after the victory.
I think for me it was maybe more last night. We were watching obviously who are we going to play. Is it going to be G2? Then we wanted the revenge from the Katowice final, or is it going to be Vitality? Then it's a Rio revenge we want. As all my boys were super tired and we found out who we needed to play, we were preparing. Okay, this is going to be these maps, and we knew, fuck man, they're going to pick Vertigo. And we had some struggles, in this tournament. But then I was just running around on the server and throwing flashbangs, throwing smokes, and I said, boys, I don't know, but I have a good feeling about this Vertigo tomorrow. I have a good feeling. And then the boys looked at me and they were like, that's fucking amazing to hear. Went to bed, we stood up.
Well, that's all from me, friends. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything CSGO and CS2 related. I won't say goodbye for a long time. See you soon.